Good morning, everybody, and welcome back. First, I'd like to apologize for taking a little bit of a break in our live streams these past few months. Things have been pretty busy, and I'm glad to be back with something that's, I think, very important for every small business owner to think about. And today, we're going to be talking about why your business needs an AI policy and what that policy should actually include. Tools like ChatGPT and Copilot and Gemini, they're all changing how people work, and they're going to help us save time. They're going to help us create content. They help us analyze data, and they help us improve efficiency. But as powerful as all of these tools are, they can also introduce some real risks if they're used without clear guidelines. So when somebody pastes some private company information or client data into an AI system, that data can leave your control completely. And once it's out there, you can't get it back. So as many of you guys know, I own and operate IT Colorado. We are based in Loveland. We have been in the IT industry since 1997. So I guess we're going on 28, 29 years now. We've seen it all from the beginning of the internet to, computer networking, small offices, cybersecurity, and now AI is upon us, and we need to start addressing these from the IT perspective and not just from this is a shiny new tool perspective. So let's talk about what and why this really matters. Most businesses don't realize just how quickly that AI use can spread inside of their organization. It starts small. Maybe there is one person or two people using ChatGPT to help clean up an email. Another might be using it to brainstorm their social media captions. Someone else might be testing it on client data just to see what it does. And none of that really sounds bad on its own, but when it's all taken together in a bigger context, it's a data exposure that's just waiting to happen. And the problem isn't that there are any bad intentions. It's a lack of awareness and how things are actually functioning on the back end. People are seeing these AI tools as assistants and not as data processors that store and learn from what you give them. And that's why having a policy matters. An AI policy, it's going to set a baseline of understanding across your whole team. It's going to define what's safe and what's off limits and what needs review. More importantly, it's going to communicate that your business isn't anti-AI, that you're pro-smart use. You're saying, yes, let's take advantage of these tools, but let's do it in a responsible way. So without that direction, employees are left to make judgment calls on their own. And quite honestly, a lot of employees are left to make those judgment calls. They're just expected to do their job. And so that's how these things they slip through the cracks. Maybe someone shares a client's name or an internal numbers or even a template that has some hidden data, all because no one ever told them not to. So I want you to think of your AI policy as the digital version of a seatbelt. You're not going to wear it because you expect to crash. You wear it because you know the risk exists and that you want to be prepared for something if that happens. So let's talk about what a policy should include. A good AI policy, it doesn't need to be long and it doesn't need to be complicated. The best ones are written in plain language and they're easy for your team to understand. So it should start by identifying which AI tools are approved for use and which ones are not, and that not every tool handles data the same way, and that privacy standards across these tools can vary quite a bit. Your policy should make it clear which platforms have been reviewed and which ones are off limits. Then you need to spell out how the data should be handled, and this is the heart of any AI policy. Everyone should understand that certain information should never be entered into a public or an external AI tool. That includes things like client details, financial data, passwords, and any information that could identify someone or expose your business. And, when I say this, I hear a lot of people saying things like, well, then how are we going to use this, to optimize things? And there's lots of different ways to do this. There are internal tools. Again, these guidelines, you can confiscate. you can change the data up a little bit so that data isn't there in its actual form, but maybe in a placeholder form. So it's also important to include a review step before anything created by AI gets sent to a client or published publicly. this should also have a second set of eyes on it. You know, we talk about human interaction that needs to be part of AI procedure that you implement. So that might mean one of your manager reviews it, or it goes through your normal quality control process. And the goal is to prevent misinformation, bias, accidental data exposure before it leaves your business. And then finally, your policy should encourage transparency and also regular updates. Your team should feel comfortable saying to you, hey, I use the AI to help draft this without worrying about judgment. And since the technology changes fast, make a plan to revisit these policies every few months. That way it stays relevant and it keeps pace with all of the rest of the tools that your team are actually using. So one of the biggest mistakes that I see businesses make with AI is assuming that their team already knows better. They think that my staff is smart, they'd never share private information. And they're right, they wouldn't intentionally do it. But the danger with AI is how normal it feels. You're typing in a chat box just like you would with a coworker, and it feels private even when it's not. So I've seen teams copy and paste entire client reports or spreadsheets or even sensitive email threads into AI tools because they wanted help rewriting or analyzing them. No one really thought twice about it because the AI tool didn't look like a risk, and it looked like it was going to help. Without a written policy, those mistakes are almost guaranteed to happen, not because people are careless, but because the rules were never made clear to them. And once the data leaves your system, it's impossible to fully control where it goes next or who can access it. So a clear, well-communicated policy, it removes that uncertainty. It gives your team a safety net, and they know what's okay and what's not and who to ask when they're unsure. It helps protect them just as much as it helps to protect your business. So I'd like to thank you guys for joining us today. I would like to leave by saying that if your business doesn't have an AI policy yet, now's the perfect time to create one. You know, you can start small, focus on clarity over complexity, define what tools are approved and what data should stay private, and who reviews the AI generated content. So once that foundation is in place, you can refine and expand it over time. If you would like a copy of a template that you can start using, send me a message or a DM, whether you're watching this on LinkedIn or on Facebook or on YouTube, and we'll make sure and get you the link to go and grab that document. AI, it's not really it's not a trend anymore. So, you know, I've heard some numbers around the 78% mark of small businesses are going to start implementing AI this year that hadn't previously. What this is telling me is that companies are finally starting to notice that AI isn't going away and it's not just a fad. It's quickly becoming a part of the daily operations for almost every business. So whether you plan for it or not, the companies that handle it best are going to be the ones that combine the innovation of AI with the intention of what they're trying to do with AI. So if you're not sure where to start, we can also help. I do invite you to schedule a security review or an AI profit gap. It's a fast, no pressure session where we can look at where AI and automation are already being used in your business and help identify the risks and help you put a simple framework in place to keep your data safe. I will post the link to that meeting page. You can find it down in the comments or in the post description. So I do appreciate you spending a few minutes today to listen to me talk about AI awareness. These documents are very important. So tell me in the comments, how is your team already using AI today? And if so, do you have a policy in place yet? You know, let's see how everyone's handling this new wave of technology. Thanks again. I hope you guys have a wonderful day today. Talk to you later. Bye.